Okay, high street versus self-employed estate agents. What's best for the customer? And is it real? Is this battle, is it a real battle, or is it just in the minds of estate agents?
I don't think it's real, Lee.
No.
I don't think a customer sits there and makes a decision that says, have you got a high street premises? Can I walk into it? And is one better than the other? I think it's far, far more nuanced than that. It's got nothing to do with where's your bricks, where's your mortar. Maybe there is a small percentage that is clinging to that. But actually, I think that's an industry has been spawned from it, from people on LinkedIn that host podcasts, that will do all sorts of things. But for me, it's definitely a big topic of conversation amongst us that work in the industry. But the people that really matter, the buyers and sellers, I don't think they give a monkeys.
I don't think they do, honestly. Yeah, I really don't. I think it's in our minds and certainly not in the customer's minds. I think what is a difference, and like you were saying, where the nuances come, is I think in the way in which the businesses are structured, and therefore the type of service that the customer either does or doesn't receive. And I think to be able to explain the two, a high street model, typically, not every high street model, absolutely not, but typically would have a branch manager that might also do valuations, might not, might have a branch manager that just manages the people in the office, and you'd have a valuer, and then you'd have a negotiator, you might have a sales progressor, and within a typical high street office, you as a customer might end up talking to 3, 4, 5, 6 different people. And where this type of thing can become frustrating is you meet the valuer up on day one. You explain your whole situation and your whole life to them. You talk them through the property, you walk them around the property, you give them the alarm code to the property and the keys. And then you never see that person again. And then the negotiator comes along because they've got a customer that wants to come and view it. And you have to go the same process again. Or you don't go through the same process, and then you live in the fear that you were reliant upon the valuer to re-explain all of the time and effort that you've put into them to give to the negotiator to make sure that they're selling the absolute benefits of your home and explaining all of the things and elements that you've taken the time to explain to the valuer when you first met them. Then it gets to sale. Then you get the first offer. Do you deal with the valuer at that point? The person that you really spoke through your finances with?
That is a real interest one, actually, because the person that's actually sat on your sofa, that's actually had that really in-deep conversation with you, possibly isn't the one that's actually going to be saying to you, this is a really good offer, and remember when we spoke about, you said to me this was really important. I think that's the person that's going to help you achieve that. That conversation in many cases doesn't take place.
More often than not, it's the negotiator, right? They've done their viewing feedback and they've had somebody say, yeah, I quite like that one. Yeah, chuck them an offer. Chuck them this. See how that goes.
So it sounds to me like you're saying high street estate agency is intrinsically bad. Is that what you're saying or not?
What I think high street agency has become is siloed.
Okay.
And I think the individuals within the offices have been siloed into particular roles, but it loses the consistency of the delivery of the service because you are dealing with Simon at one point and then Jane at the next point and Julia further down the road. And actually it's actually the office dynamic is not fully connected. Therefore, the customer feels like they have to re-explain themselves time and time again. And the person that you initially trusted with the keys to your house, you never see again because they're moved on. And the reason that comes from is the way in which they're paid and the structural changes that they have to make to be able to earn their money. So if they're only paid on instructions and not sales, then they're only focused on instructions.
So that's employed traditional high street agency. Where do you see the differences with a self-employed business owning type of model and someone who hasn't got premises and actually works as a solopreneur? Where do you see the difference?
So I feel that it's all around that consistency of service. that the self-employed agent can deliver from day one. So not only are they going to be the person that you'll book your appointment with and that you'll have your first conversation with, that you'll take around the home and explain the finer details of the home, but they are the person that will deal with those incoming inquiries and ensure that they're the right type of buyer for you that fits in line with the expectations that you guys might have had a conversation around. Actually, timing of when you want to move, how quickly, how slowly, things that you feel might be the best sort of suit for and fit for your home. Your agent can then go and explain that. Then they will come and do the viewing, and they'll show them over with the information that you've given, with the keys that you've handed over, and actually be there at the time of negotiation. So actually maybe able to have more detailed conversations with the viewers even before they make an offer, as they're making an offer, and be able to advise you through that part of the process. And then when the sale is agreed, then some of the work really starts. And actually the sales progression element of bringing a sale from the point of sale agreed to the day of completion is one of the most crucial parts of the journey. And that's where, even if your agent is supported, they will be your point of reference, and they will be the communicator throughout that process. So you really get helped and handled from the minute that you start in the process of thinking of moving to the day in which you hand over keys to your agent.
Some more joined up thinking there, greater consistency.
It is.
A little bit more fluid in terms of actually you're both singing from the same song sheet that you've both understood clearly.
And people might say, but then how do they do so many deals? Well, the truth is that they don't have to.
I've got a great conversation piece on that. I was talking to Craig Armstrong, and he shared this, and he said, yeah, Jace, promise you, in my old role, to earn what I earn today from one transaction, I used to have to sell 9 houses. Yeah. And that is staggering.
Well, that's what's forced the additional people in these office environments, because of the sheer volume that they have to handle. And if you can bring that right back, then of course Craig can give wonderful service to his customer from end to end, because he's dealing with a tenth of the amount of properties that we'd had to deal with before. And that's where he's had that more time on the ball and more that constant communication with the customers. And honestly, mate, the reviews that our agents get through the Google platform that they work on, it's
rare to see anything
incredible.
Less than a 5, isn't it?
And honestly, even as a business, and I've obviously sat both sides of this now with a high street offices premises, like 3 different offices, and we've run the self-employed business. The reviews that our self-employed agents get absolutely far exceed what we were able to get as a business before.
What do you think that is then? What if you could pick one thing that's influenced that, what would it be?
Well, I'm going to give you 2 things: connection and consistency.
Okay.
I think the consistency of communication throughout the process allows our agents to understand their customers, to understand the ups, the downs that go throughout a transaction, and be able to support them at each of those moments effectively and through to a successful completion.
How about skin in the game? Because I guess, if you are a high street negotiator, you might earn 5, you might earn 10% from a transaction.
Yep.
How does that compare to a typical self-employed agent, let's say in the IAD model?
So in our model, each of our agents will earn 69% of the commission that they charge. So by skin in the game, we're talking lots of skin in this game. Yeah. And there is lots of motivation towards ensuring that your customer is really happy at the end. Yeah. And if you need to go and collect a set of keys at 7 o'clock at night,
you'll go and do it.
These are one of those things you can choose to do at that moment. And you will know that it's worth it to you because of the bigger picture of what you're looking at.
So if you were predicting the future, high street dead, or is there a place for high street still?
I do feel there is a place for high street, but I don't think it's the only option for our estate agency market. And I think the amount of high street agents you will see will substantially reduce.
Interesting thoughts. Cheers.
Thanks.